couple of people have asked us to explain about quick releases. Yep. So we're doing the quick releases for traces and pole straps or chains, yeah? So I'm going through with a few here that we have, right? So from these large ones to that one, then the next one down, a different type of fitting, and all the ones that, there are more, but these are the ones that most people will know and recognise, so I thought we'd deal with them. Right, if you look, this is one of our swingle trees taken off another carriage. So when they're supplied, most of the time they come like this, yeah, with this between, a little pin, little key ring, take it out, the pin comes out, you can fix it to your carriage, yeah, in that respect, or the end of your trace if you choose to do that. This is the other type that comes with a shackle on the end, a fixed shackle. So it will spin exactly the same as this one. Take any twist you've got in your trace out. But if you use this, obviously you have to attach this in some way to your carriage, or again to your trace, right? Although I would recommend more, if you do this, do it to the carriage. So you need one of these, which is a quick link that you can pass through there, fix it to whatever you want to fix it to, screw it up. And what I do, I put a little bit of Loctite on there, because you can always undo it with a spanner, but the little bit of Loctite will hold it firm. So if we just go through all of these first, right? So you've got the larger one, they do larger than this. This is only to give you a rough idea. So that's the two types there with these shackles on, both spin, as you can see. This is the normal type you get with the pin that comes out, which is released by this small key ring. Okay, this is another type which I don't dislike, I just think the design of it is not very good. So I'll just show you how this works. So if we look at it here, it's locked in position. To open it, you have to put your finger in, yeah? And as you can see, it's not easy. So lock it, you can hear it click locked. I'll put the pressure on. I'll try and do it from underneath so you can see. And you need to get your finger well in there to get it out. Now, that's the reason I don't like them. I think the locking mechanism on them is good and is strong, but that's the reason I don't like them. Because you've got to get your finger in. And it's hard to get your finger in, but also I wouldn't like it anyway if the hole was large enough to put my finger, as large as this hole, to put my finger right through. Yeah? I still wouldn't want it, because now you've got in your finger, so if you all jump forward, it would break your finger or certainly hurt you. Pull the skin off it, pull your nail off or whatever. So that's the reason I don't like those. So this is another type which I really do like. It's got a lot of advantages. It's an old one, this is very old. And it releases, so it's locked in position now, and it releases by this being revolved around, yeah? So you can turn it round, bring it there, and it opens nicely. You can see all this is steel, yeah? Goes in and locks up really well. Turn it round again. Yeah? Lovely. Problem being, you've got to hold that in some way to turn it. You've got to be able to get your fingers on there or your hand on there like this, some way to turn it. That's its downfall. Other than that, it is a brilliant, really good locking device. Very, very good. Another disadvantage with this particular one, it has no swivel on it. Yeah, so as you lock it, you can't unroll your, you know, if your trace has got a couple of turns in it, you can't take them out. Yeah. But as far as being strong goes, I've had this one and used it a lot. It's showing a little bit of wear here, but I mean a tiny amount. I must have had it 30 years, I suppose, 25 years. Very, very good one, but that's its two disadvantages. One, it doesn't have a swivel. Two, you've got to turn this. So a disadvantage. Other people, I've seen these used, carabiner. Nothing wrong, very strong, will do the job. But this can be hit and opened, yeah? it can be knocked. The spring in there will only last so long, and these stretch. When they stretch at this point, you'll find you've probably got one at home yourself. You go to open it, it's a bit hard, and it doesn't quite go back in, yeah? So you'll see they get damaged reasonably easily, which is the downside of them. Again, there's different ones of these, yeah, that you can get, but this is the most readily available one. Also, what I don't like is these sharp pieces here. I think you can see that if I hold it there. These are quite sharp. As I revolve this round, you'll be able to see what I mean. So if you're doing this, you're sharp here as well. If you're trying to get out, so you push this in and you're trying to get a ring out, if the horse moves forward, anything like that, you know, in an emergency, you could find that your finger's in there and it could be quite badly hurt because of the sharp edges on it. One other thing I would mention about these is you'll see these on our harness. They're on the end of every trace we've got, every harness we own, these are on the end. But what we use them for is when we're going to clip the traces up, we don't roll the traces in time. We clip the trace straight up when we're taking the horse out onto the turret and let it go so it holds the trace up. Can you see? So that's why you'll see them. Because a lot of people say, do you use these in not a quick release? But that's what you see in our films. You'll see them quite a bit, but they're just there to hold the trace up. 90% of quick releases are of this, what we've got here, you know, that are on offer. There are others. What we always do is, and we're just about to change this carriage now, but he's had to send for some new stainless steel nuts and bolts. So if you can see how they're fixed on here, look, if I bring this round and put my hand underneath, you can see that the little key rings there to secure them to the carriage. We will change that as soon as these others come, these nuts and bolts, to this way of doing it. So if I just move these bits over, that way, yeah? So we've replaced this type of shackle, this pin, we've replaced with a nut and bolt. And it will be a nylon locking nut, so once it's done up, it's there forever, yeah? You've still got all of this just the same, it interferes with nothing. All we've changed is this tiny little part here for a nut and bolt, yeah? The reason being, these eventually wear. A horse will catch his tail in there, yeah? Between that, just like you can open it with your fingernail. If he's swishing his tail, you've got it, and you've got a chance of it coming loose and undoing. We've certainly had it happen to us. So that's why we replace it with a nut and bolt. These will be replaced exactly the same as I've just said. I'll put my hand under it so you can see it. They'll be replaced with a nut and bolt across here. And I think that's a safer option. And for what it costs for, you know, a stainless steel nut and bolt, so you've got something nice and strong and British standard, that's okay, that's good. The other thing to look out for before you go and buy shackles is this swingle tree here, for instance, will accommodate this nice and easy. It's got plenty of room to do so. You can see there, yeah, plenty of room to accommodate that, no trouble at all. Some swingle trees you'll find will have a very small hole to fix to. Just all depends who's made them. So you can't get a quick release through there very well. So it's in some cases, but the ones we haven't had that much trouble with. But obviously when you get down to a smaller swingle tree, the loop on the end is going to be smaller, so just make sure it will accommodate. So this one's got a little pad on it, the same as this, and it will sit in there quite happily there doing its job, and the nut and bolt will be the same. If we've got any more surplus than that tiny bit of thread, then we would definitely take that off with a hacksaw, only because it's an edge that a horse could get his hocks on. We also always turn them outwards. I've done this one the opposite way round, yeah? I'm just showing a horse slipping. Obviously the horse's legs are not going to be back that far, but if he slipped, went down, something happened, yeah? I've done these two to show you. So we've got that's on the outside, basically, so his legs are going to be in here, yeah? And this one, I've done the wrong way. I've left it on, so you can see that edge could catch a horse. All this is padded as much as it can be, and that could possibly catch a horse. So that's the way we do it. Turn them on the outside, tighten them up to there, yeah? Don't put this under any more pressure. Don't tighten these any tighter than nipping them up tight. A little bit of Loctite glue is best. That's what I find anyway. The other thing I would add to this, I don't particularly like these key ring ones. They do another one with a splayed end, which I'll show you in a minute. I'll get Mel to get one in for us. But this is just a key ring, yeah? So what I like to do is to take a cable tie. These are readily available at any hardware merchants. You can put that through there, and then put that through there, and it will help to keep the key ring together. But also what it gives you is, if you're in an emergency situation, and this is obviously why these were used, you've got this to get hold of, yeah, to release it, yeah? So there, look, can you see? Just release it nice and easy there. So if I pull that, away it comes, nice and easy. To show you one more time there, yeah? So for a few pennies, you can get these. Now if you've got these little tiny ones, really small one like this, then what I do, I use these tiny small ones, make a loop first with one of them, there. Right, so it's big enough to put your finger in, yeah? And then make another loop to pass through here, yeah? Like that. So you've got the two options of, so you pull that one up tight, and you've got, cut your surplus off of this one, and then you've got that. Can you see? So I'll put my finger through there and that will pull it, yeah? You take the surplus off of that one that you don't need. So you've got that way of doing it, which works really well, and you've got also that one, yeah? The other thing I would say with these, they do gather dirt, grit. So a little spray with WD-40, that type of thing, and when you do it, spray it in, open it up, pull that down and spray it in there, in that spot there is where you want to spray it, and then just pull it in and out and get rid of any grit or anything that might jam it. It does happen, and obviously if they've got grit in there, they will wear faster. So we've gone over basically these, all of these quick releases. I've brought a tape out to give you an idea, because that there is a 5-inch, so an internal measurement of 4. So you've got to make sure, it's only a minor thing, but it's a thing that sometimes happens. You find the way you've got your vehicle adjusted up, that might be on the end hole of your trace, you know, where you fix it to your trace. It could be just a point to think of, that it can be you've taken the trace up all the way, and when you add that, you will be adding 4 inches, which on a thing could be the distance between the holes at the far end on your breast collar, or if you've got the adjustment at the other end the same, yeah, you might find that it could be on the borderline of your traces. It'll make your traces too long, possibly 4 inches, normally what you'd get between traces. So this is the type of thing as well, you know, when I was talking about these coming apart, I just want to move this forward. I've got this one here, can you see? They've both got the same in, but that one is coming apart. Just got caught, horses pulled it, and now if it pulls it all the way, what happens is, I'll just show you, and this is what, so if I take that now and take it out all the way, yeah, like that, this is what happens. That will can come through and come out all the way. So if we just pop this back in, and I'll show you with another one. So that one's now back in. I'll just fold that over for a minute. And Mel will put a new one in now. So that can't come out. I'm going to have to lift this up so you can see. So this one can't come out regardless of whatever happens because it's flat on the end. Can you see there? If I lay that down there, take this one out again so you can see. So that there is flat on the end. If we take this one here, and I'll put it that way you can see, yeah, this one is not flat on the end. That one is flat, this one is not. So when you do that, yeah, if we undo this one, and a horse's tail should get in there and do it, can't do it myself now, but if a horse's tail should get in there and do it, and open it up, or it takes a bump, or for whatever reason, I'll just have to get a clip and do that. I can't feel the ends of my fingers very well. So yeah, so we got one here now. I can show you with this one. So there's the thing, just like you put any keys on a ring. Yeah, you can see that coming off, yeah? Now if it happens here on this part, if we send that round there, even with those cable ties on, you can see that it will come off, yeah? And that's exactly what happens. You get the spring come out and the pin come out. If I move these other bits away, you'll probably be able to see better. So you've got the spring has come out and the pins come out. Now you've got no quick release whatsoever. So that's why I think it's an important thing, a very important thing, to have the flat end ones. So if we put this back in, we put this spring on, we put that back in there, and I'll push it up, yeah? You want the flat end ones, and that's why, if you've got to use these, because that's all that's available, what I would say then you want to do is to get very good quality key rings. Most important, to get very good quality key rings. And then that will be, you see how it just flies out. And then you can't find the bits when it flies out. So, you know, if I just put that back in there like that, yeah, and just let go, you can see it's just completely flies out and it's gone. So, going back over everything again. If we put these two together, you can see it better. So this one is a round end. That is a splayed end. It can never come out. Even when it's open, it just can't come out because the end is splayed. Different manufacturers do them different. This one is definitely the best without any question. If you can't get those, there's nothing wrong with these. They're just as good. But you must take all precautions to prevent that coming out, yeah? So if I put that there, can you see, even with that in, straight out, full straight out. Real dangerous. Because obviously you've got nothing holding. If that was a pole chain or a trace, you've got problems. So change your key ring for a much better quality key ring. That's what we're looking for, a quality key ring. They do some that are very, very strong to pull apart. They're a nuisance to get on, but once they're on, there's far less chance of them ever getting caught in a towel and opened up. We always buy quality ones. I would be very careful what you buy. They're all most of them can be stamped with a load bearing that they have. So I think that we've covered everything there as far as I can with the ones we've got. So just briefly going over it one more time, if we just take these ones alone, yeah. This one, change it, in my opinion, for a little nut and bolt. You've seen these ones on this carriage, but Melanie will change them. She's just ordered the nuts and bolts now, stainless steel. This one, of this type, needs that or something to connect it. You need some sort of connection there. This type, although is lovely, almost industrial, you would say, very, very strong. It's got wonderful advantages in its fact, its strength of it. You turn it, you release it, that's fine. Two things that are wrong with it, the downside, one, it doesn't have a swivel, as these do, yeah. It's point two, you've got to be able to get your hand in there and turn it, like so, yeah. But if we've got if we take this one, for instance, and I'll just pop that on there again, just to go over the same thing with you, just to make sure I've explained myself properly. So you put that on there, pull it on, and you don't have to get your hand to there to pull this to open it, yeah? You can do it from back here, you see? Open. Easily, yeah? Pull it from back here and open it. And these never wear out, really. I mean, obviously they're plastic and like that. But you also, they do them with a small piece of leather on, a little leather strap that you can use. So I think that's explained everything I can about quick releases and why we use them. If you have any other ideas, any questions you want to ask, if there's two or three people that are interested in the same thing, I'll certainly make you a film. That is the purpose of this channel. If you say to me, show me a film on this, doesn't matter how silly it sounds, because you'd be surprised how many people don't understand about quick releases. Nothing to be ashamed of. You're far better off to go out happy and safe, obviously, with just a couple of little things. So a little bit of maintenance, WD-40. These you can buy for pennies each, any hardware shop. They do the release for you. You can, make them in all sorts of different ways. You can put a bigger loop on, you can do anything. As long as you haven't got to get your hand right in there under an emergency situation. So I hope that's helped you to understand exactly how we go about it. I'm not saying our way's the best. It certainly works for us. Okay, lovely.